What's going on, people? Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. Nadeska, Akademiks and Wayno here on the very final week of Everyday Struggle, y'all. It's happening. What's up, guys?
I propose a toast. I just want to say it off rip. I propose a toast. I know y'all don't got shit in your hand. It's fine. I propose a toast. I'm just saying, listen, it's been a hell of a ride. And, you know, wait, are we acting like we're seeing each other tomorrow, or we're just gonna...
Why can't you just get your shit straight, Akademiks?
Yo, I just want to give a toast,
all right,
man.
Hold on with the toast, just because Ak is about to fuck everything up, guys. So,
I want somebody to cry. Why nobody get emotional when the shit about to end? I cried on when the season finale of Fresh Prince, I cried. Season finale of Martin, I cried. Like, why nobody crying, bro?
So shed a tear, goddammit.
What? Yeah, like, go ahead and cry, Ak.
Yo, Wayno too thugged out to cry. Okay.
I just want to see you. I want to see you cry. I just want to see what that visual.
I've cried on stream before, you know, to some Uzi and to some Drake, but I don't know if I could cry over this. But all right, go ahead, man.
All right. So look, on this episode, we're gonna recap 2020. You guys know it's been an extremely wild year, so we're not doing Everyday Struggle Awards. We are gonna talk about some music and just world events, and then for the remaining 3 days, this is the time to cry. So tomorrow we're recapping the best feel-good moments in Everyday Struggle history. On Wednesday, we're doing the biggest beefs, which I'm sure you guys will enjoy. And then on Thursday, it's just a grand finale. All the things that happen behind the scenes that you may not have known before. That's when Akademiks is going to be balling on set. Stay tuned. Was that good? You good, Ak?
Okay.
Yeah.
Good cliffhanger. I'm cool with it.
So you can do the toast at the end of today's show if you want. So let us start. Where should we start? The coronavirus, man. This really upended our year. As you guys know, our last episode in studio this year was in March. At that point, we just had no idea how serious things were going to be. We thought we'd be back in the studio in 2 weeks. Up until this point, there have been 16 million cases in the state so far, nearly 300,000 deaths, which is horrible. A lot of artists were affected early in the year. People like Kanye got the coronavirus, Slim Thug, Doja Cat, and of course, we lost Fred the Godson, R.I.P. Jeremiah recently recovered, and Scarface. You know, definitely one of the most bizarre and upsetting years of our young lifetimes.
Yo, definitely condolences to, you know, any artists or people within the culture that did, you know, lose their lives. And also, of course, you know, to their families and friends, because, you know, a lot of people who we loved, we realized caught it at some point or another. But I want to remind you guys of how trivial we thought this was when it initially broke. Like, I remember being at Complex in the green room where we did the episode already. Our production people came in because we were going to have a meeting about how we might have to move forward. But still, I think me, Wayno, and Nadeska thought never in a million years we're going to be doing the show from home.
Speak for yourself, Akademiks, and also Wayno. If I remember on set, I told you, you said, this is not a problem. It's going to be fine in 3 weeks. And I told you this is going to get really bad before it gets better. I didn't think it would be this bad, but of the three of us, I think I was the only one who thought it was going to be a serious issue.
No, I thought it was going to be time off. I thought it was going to be time off. I never knew we had to readjust. It's like a new way of making the show. I remember we did the we did a test, like almost like, you know, a test situation where we could all, like, you know what I mean, be debating. And I think we looked at each other because it was so convoluted and said, this ain't never going to happen. And surely 2 weeks later, pretty much that was the situation. We had to adjust from home.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll go on and say, like, I didn't think that, I don't want to, like, be dismissive about it. I wasn't trying to be dismissive about it, but I didn't know that this was going to be something that was going to change the entire world. Like, you know, this shit really changed how we interacted, how people, you know, travel, how we deal with each other. I didn't, like, at that moment when we was in the studio, I remember that meeting that we had, Ak, like, I didn't think that it was going to go this far. I thought this was going to be something that came and went, like, in about a month, you know, but it actually changed everything, shit, for a lot of different reasons, for the better and for the worse. I feel like this was a year, you know, that people, if you were able to, you know, be quarantined with your family, like, got a little bit closer. I know I got closer with my family, you know, and I took things a little bit more seriously, you know, once we were in quarantine, and just, it really made me reflect on life and really shake my shit up, you know what I mean, for real, because we're still going into 2021 with this. You know, it's not like it's over anytime soon. So it just made me a little bit sharper. But I really could say I did not think it was going to be like this, bro.
Yeah, Wayno, I think what you say really sticks out to me about this year making us reflect on life. Because remember, before we realized how serious Corona was, we were already dealing with some pretty big losses. So at the top of the year in January, we lost Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi. They died along with seven other people in a helicopter crash. Gigi was only 13, Kobe was only 41, very much getting started in this second, wave of his life. And that really knocked the wind out of all of us. Like, how did that news hit you at the time?
Oh man, that was really devastating because Kobe Bryant is like my favorite player. Michael Jordan is my favorite player, but I watched Kobe Bryant's entire career from the moment he was drafted to the moment he retired. I named my company after the offense that Phil Jackson put in place for him and the Lakers and Michael Jordan and the Bulls. And I lost an idol. You know what I mean? Every people first and foremost as family, they lost a loved one, but I never even seen Kobe Bryant play in real life. Like I never went to a game. I never actually seen him, and just the impact that he had on my life was pretty crazy. That one hurt. I ain't gonna lie. Like that shit hurt.
That was so abrupt. I remember, like, even though I got the news from reputable outlets and some inside sources, I was like, nah, no way. It was just unbelievable. I remember hearing about it like around midday to later in the day, and it was just kind of surreal. And also, it didn't really hit like that Kobe Bryant had passed until maybe like 2 days after. It was seriously surreal because we were wondering about the circumstances. We were wondering about so many different things. We're trying to confirm. We're just trying to figure out so many things. There's a lot of confusion. And also, if you've been keeping up with Kobe Bryant, especially his growth and evolution, ever since he stopped becoming a basketball player, he has so many great moments by being almost a coach slash dad with his daughter. It was brilliant to see. So, I think if you weren't in love with him as a player, maybe you rooted for a team he constantly played against, you absolutely were going to root for him just as a man and as a father. And, that was just kind of surreal to deal with and surreal to even accept. I just remember that.
Absolutely. That was one of those moments where I think all of us will remember where we were when they happened. And then a few weeks later, Pop Smoke was shot and killed in Los Angeles. This was early February. I had just come off doing an interview with him at Apple Music. At that point, of course, he had a few songs that were really going up, and having a chance to meet him was so impactful. He was just such a charming guy, so charismatic. I think we were all super excited to see what he would do. And of course, his posthumous album is still doing really well, but that one also really, really hurt. And we found out on set. I think we had just left the set and heard that news that day.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy as well. I mean, like for Pop, I only actually met Pop one time, and this was before he got signed. One of my close friends was actually his manager, my man Rico. And when I met him, he told me that he watched us every day. He's like, yo, big bro, I watch you every single day, man. I mean, he didn't introduce me to him as an artist. He just like, yo, this is my little man Pop. And he was like, yo, I watch you every day. He's like, me and my homies, we watch y'all, Akademiks and Nadeska, we be learning from y'all every day. And I'm like, all right, that's what's up. And then like to see where he was taking it, just for, New York hasn't had a breath of fresh air as far as an artist in a long time. I mean, we've had a lot of artists that have like kind of chipped away at kind of bringing New York back, so to speak. But like Pop was one of the ones that we was really hopeful about, and I mean, his posthumous work has shown us why, but like, man, this kid was really special. And I remember us all being on set, and Drake, our sound guy, he came into the room and told us, and I was like, hell no, it just didn't sound right. You know what I mean? We had just lost Kobe, but then when he said that, it just didn't sound right. And when we got the confirmation that it was real, it was another blow,
It was absolutely a punch to the gut. I remember Drake coming in, and he was also at a loss for words. And, I think Dre as well, our sound guy, he's probably worked on him with different projects within, even Complex or maybe even outside. But I could tell he was affected by it. But, like, even at that point, and I'll be honest, I remember every comment I made about Pop, especially before he died, because also, like, I remember saying, you know what, man, I didn't see the superstar quality in him. And I remember me and Wayno used to go at it because Wayno would be like, yo, nigga, you're bugging. And by the way, I saw how even the news of his passing hit Wayno instantly. I remember your words directly. You're like, "Are you serious? No, you're lying." and I was just kind of there, just processing in it, and like I guess I didn't really get it at that time. Like, of course, like, getting news of anyone dying is a little bit abrupt, but I didn't get how great of an artist he was. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm one of the people who, like, after his death, appreciating his work before he died. I've been doing a lot now, and I feel a little guilty about that because part of that is like, yo, man, you want to show people the appreciation while they're here. You know what I mean? You want to show them, you know what I mean? Like, yo, hey, listen, maybe a comment of yours or you showing appreciation could, lighten their mood for a day. But in hindsight, I could say, man, that guy was going to be a superstar. And it was a loss to the rap, hip hop, especially New York rap, that was severely devastating. But also, even though he was so young, he made his mark. And I think through his movement, his presence, his music, he's gonna always be remembered. And I think that's significant and profound. But I'm not gonna lie, man. I wish he was around to see what he could have done, because I think he had an energy that was just so. It attracted everybody to his like whole movement, and I don't know. I wish we could have saw that story build out a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, a lot of us take comfort, like you said, in the fact that he did leave us such great music and it's performing so well, but it stings a little bit every single time, I hear something new, even hearing him on this Cudi album and just imagining all the things that he could have done. So at this point in the year, and again, this is only February, we're already feeling like, man, they're taking a lot of our Black superheroes away from us. And then fast forward a few months, we're at home, we're locked down, and we find out that Chadwick Boseman has died. So now a real life Black superhero, of course, he's done a lot of films. I think he might still even have things coming out. But of course, he became infamous for his role in Black Panther. And he died after a 4-year battle with colon cancer, which we didn't even know about. So to all of us, this came as just a complete shock.
Yeah, the thing with Chadwick is, like, I'm a big, comic fan. Like, I still have my comics from when I was a kid, and the thing about Chadwick was when he had posted a video. I can't remember what the video was for. I think it was some sort of cause, and he had lost a lot of weight, and you saw how the internet just attacked. Like, they just attacked. Like, some people was like, oh, maybe he lost his weight for a role, but it was a lot of people joking on him. You know what I mean? Saying like, yo, he looks crazy, he's on drugs, all this different shit. And then, when he passes and we find out that the first time we seen him as Black Panther was in Captain America, Civil War, he had been dealing with that this whole entire time. His family and friends never leaked any of his business. It really happened out of nowhere to the world. But it just showed, like, a testament of how strong he was as an artist. Like, his acting is something that will be remembered forever. And I remember reading Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther, young brother. He was saying how, what did he say? He said that when they were having conversations about making this film, they were like, yo, we want this shit to be like what Star Wars was for us, something that lasts forever, like something that's marked in time. And I mean, you saw it in the ticket sales. Black Panther had become the biggest Marvel movie, and then of course Avengers and the next Avengers after that kind of trumped that. But it's just the work that they put in was so important, and I feel like Chadwick is immortalized. You know what I mean? He's immortalized as such a great talent through that.
I think about two things when it comes to Chadwick Boseman. Number one, it made me see a lot of things about humanity in terms of social media. You realize a lot of these platforms, Twitter, Instagram, man, a lot of times, man, and we could chalk it up as, oh, there's a lot of kids on it, so they don't get it. But man, some of these platforms are used to bully, belittle people, make people feel, you know what I mean? Like, and it might be insecurities of people themselves, but like, you pick on other people to make yourself feel better, or just kind of feel like you're in a bigger, kind of conglomerate, being the mob. And yeah, I do remember those pictures that came out where he was looking a little, he's looking a little skinnier. He was looking a little like, malnourished. And some people, no one ever even thinks, oh, maybe he has a health issue. It was straight jokes. it was straight jokes. Like not one person, like at least with any influence, said, "Hold up, man." I mean, a couple people said maybe to a role, but it was let the jokes fly. And then when you find out later, the cause of why he died, it also taught me the second thing, or like it emphasized the second thing to me, which is there's so much honor to me in people who don't make excuses. He had every reason to use that as potentially a way to gain sympathy, potentially a way to get more attention to himself, potentially a way to just use that sympathy card to maybe get ahead, get in positions or whatever situations that he may have wanted to get into. But no, he did not. He took that, he handled it privately. I think, credit to his family and friends who knew, close friends who knew, because again, they didn't leak shit. But he wanted to audition for every role. He wanted to, if there was stunts that had to be done, or, and obviously we know there's stuntmen and shit like that, but like, it's something, sometimes they make sure you could at least pass the requirement. Like, hey, you don't got to do that, but you got to do this. Never had no excuses. You can't have nothing but respect for somebody like that, because he's letting his talent and his true passion carry him along. No excuses. For that, I'll always admire him.
Well said, my friends. He leaves behind an incredible legacy, and it's just super inspiring. Now, this next one is one that also hit really hard because it was an artist that we had just gotten a chance to speak to right here on Everyday Struggle. King Von was shot and killed outside of an Atlanta club on November 6th. Now, he had just come on the show to talk about his project, Welcome to O Block. I know you're both big fans of him. His career is really just starting to take off. And just another one, we couldn't have seen coming.
Yeah, I think that kid, he had the potential of being a superstar. I mean, when the whole Chicago drill scene has started kicking off, I used to follow everybody, and like it didn't dawn on me who he was until like I started looking back, and I'm like, oh shit, I used to see this kid. He wasn't rapping at the time. He was just like one of the homies that hung around with Fredo or Little Reese and them, and like you would just see all of them chilling together, and to see where he had he got out of prison, I think in 2017 or 2018. He's only 26 years old. For how fast, I wouldn't say just fast, but like the trajectory he was on. It showed that he was like doing all the work. Like Dirk sat him down, taught him how to, make music, and then he took it from there, which became one of Ak's, favorite storytellers. And I didn't really look at it into that context until Ak has said it. And not that I questioned it, but I think I kind of slept on the skill set that this kid had. And, having him on the show, remember that day, like we thought he was even going to get on the show because he was in New York, he was out late, he had was running around, he had did a couple of freestyles making his media runs, and that was a Wednesday morning. To hear that Friday morning that this kid was no longer here, it was like, what the fuck, yo, like, like what is going on? And it was a blow, because I just don't want to see anybody, lose their lives. But the way that things have been going, just in hip hop culture, and particularly this year, people supposed to be in the house or whatever, and the violence kicked up, and we were trying to make such a big splash in the world when it came to Black Lives Matter and this, that, and the third. And honestly, it just showed for me, and I'm not diminishing with police brutality, hoes, and none of that shit, but to us, a lot of times we don't matter to us, and Vaughn passing and how it happened was a prime example of that, and that was kind of crazy, because that I had never spoken to an artist like on a Wednesday and them pass on Friday, so that was kind of crazy for me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Vaughn's death, it hit me in a very just interesting way, because not only was I a huge fan of his music, I was excited for him to come on here, but it's rare that when a management team or anyone says, yo, hey, would you mind to do something with him, like, because we know like you've covered like his region a lot, you also like his music, would you do something outside of that? A lot of times I'm like, nah, I'm good. But for Vaughn, absolutely, and like I remember in that conversation we had, a lot of that was me telling him like, yo, man, you're on the path of superstardom. And, you know, just even having that interview with him in the car, he was sitting there and like, you know, he was always looking behind his back, this and third. And I was like, man, you're out of that now. You're out of that life. Like, yo, you gotta be someone who's more friendly, more attentive. Let your guys or whoever security deal with that type of stuff, because, you know, in the ideal world, we want the guys who come from really troubled backgrounds to now be the greatest faces who could smile, hug babies, take pictures with kids, you know what I mean, and just kind of be complete superstars and just forget about some of the past they had. And unfortunately, sometimes that catches up with them, whether it's the legal system or it catches up with them in the street. It was one of the situations when I heard he got shot, I was like, nah, he gonna make it. And like, I remember just saying, nah, he gonna make it. He gonna make it. He gonna make it. And then I remember just kind of getting a couple more calls, you know, from a couple of people who were with him and saying, man, yo, he ain't making it. It was like super surreal. And to know that even with that conversation I had with him, one of the last conversations, I was like, I remember saying to him, yo, this is such a great first conversation we're having on camera. I can't wait to have this another time when maybe your mentality and your experiences have changed. A lot of things that we're talking about in terms of, you know, Pop Smoke, King Von, their passing becomes so much more unfortunate because they're so young. And the mentality that they have at that age, you know, he just came out of prison. He didn't really know what all this stuff is. You know, his first $100,000, I asked him, he said, I ain't got no expensive cars. He said, I brought it back to my hood and I gave it to the people who I've always known to be with, you know. So I wish we could have seen those brothers' growth. And, you know, I think that's the sad part about it. Not only were their music great, but, you know, watching people grow and learn, that's always dope as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. You know, there are a few other people that we've lost, you know, that I feel like we need to mention. Andre Harrell, legendary music executive, founder of Uptown Records. Later, he was the CEO of Motown Records, a mentor to Diddy. We lost rapper Mo3, Marlo from QC. Definitely a lot of lives lost this year. And even outside of music, people like Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that was a huge loss for the country and for the Supreme Court. Civil rights activist John Lewis. We just dealt with really a lot this year, and we haven't even gotten into sort of the wave of protest that sparked over the Black Lives Matter movement. So
Alex Trebek too. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Jeopardy ain't the same.
Rest in peace, man. A lot of great lives lost this year. So I feel like, guys, as a community, man, we really need some therapy. I think a lot of people, maybe you don't know it at the time, but we're going to be leaving this year with some PTSD. So I think if you're Black in America, you know that Black people are often murdered at the hands of police officers, but it feels like this is the year where the rest of America woke up and finally saw what was happening, and the rest of the world finally saw what was happening. And of course, we're not the only country dealing with this, which is something we also learned. So in May, police officers in Minneapolis murdered George Floyd when they kneeled on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That set off a wave of worldwide protests calling for an end to police brutality. And then it really brought into focus some of the other murders that might have just otherwise just been swept under the rug. Ahmaud Arbery, who was shot and killed while he was jogging in February, and of course Breonna Taylor, who was shot and killed by police in her apartment in Kentucky when police just forced themselves into her home and started shooting. We saw a lot of artists get out there and protest as well. You know, people like Kendrick Cole, Wale, Sway Lee, Lil TJ. This is something that affects all of us. We saw artists like The Weeknd put up really, really big donations to help social justice organizations. They asked that their labels and the companies that often profit off of Black culture also put up some money to help in this fight. And then we saw some companies try to make some changes, like Republic Records dropping the word urban, Grammy saying that they would no longer use that term in their award categories. We still have a lot of work to do, but you know, just looking back at this turbulent summer, how do you guys feel about everything, you know, that happened? Do you feel like we've even made progress since then?
No, we absolutely made progress. I'm of course disgusted by the deaths of, like, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, but I'm gonna be honest, this is a year I felt like people that weren't of color got it too. And it felt like maybe they couldn't speak from experience because you won't get it a lot quicker when you that color. Trust me, because when you get pulled over by the cops, it's a different experience. When you have an interaction with a police officer, when you are just moving around, period, you have a different experience. But this was a year where I felt like counterparts that were non-black kind of got it, and they were like, yo, you know what? This is a problem that we need to change. And I do think just more like I go back to, Trayvon Martin. I felt like there was awareness brought there, but like, there was a lot of like filibustering and like, excuse making.
And it was controversial to say Black Lives Matter at that moment. White people were not hanging it over their banisters and painting it in their windows at that point.
Yeah, and shit, if you look at a lot of these, really it's still just a symbol, but like, a lot of these major, historic streets in a lot of these, cities, they got Black Lives Matter painted right on the street, and these are like, government approved. I felt like there's an understanding that there's something systemically wrong and it needs to change. I do believe that the only way we're going to ever get change is for the people who do have the power for them to understand. And I feel like they do understand a bit. The path to change isn't a fast one, though. Unfortunately, like, George Floyd goes down as a martyr because, again, I think if we don't see the video of him literally being treated like, somebody who's a terrorist who killed like tens of thousands of people and literally murdered on the street corner for, over really nothing, I don't think that message gets amplified the way it does. But I do feel we made some progress. We still got a long way to go, though. There's a lot of racist institutions that has rejected, repelled, and still are, within their own practices fighting against what, this awareness is trying to have people have more openness and just, acceptance. But I think people are even ousting those people like, yo, all right, we're not going to fuck with you then. So, it's a little bit of progress.
Yeah, I feel like there was some progress made. I still feel like it's a very, very, very long way to go because I felt like, while there was a lot of genuine actions that happened, I felt like, in a way, Black people became a hot topic. And I felt like a lot of supposed change that was said to be made was just a lot of people just covering their asses. You know what I mean? A lot of people just saying like, all right, I ain't with that, so leave me out of it. You know what I'm saying? Or if you don't say something, that means that like it's only you. But realistically, we can't really tell, who is always down with us. I think that we have to give it time. This is very still new. But for me, I felt like the most important part of what happened this year was the youth, the uprising of the youth. The young people who was willing to put their bodies on the line and put their freedom on the line to go out there and protest and let their voices be heard. And it made me hopeful, because when I see young people who get it, I feel more secure about my future. Because the young people, I'm gonna be an old person one day, and I'm gonna need them to make the decisions that take care of me. So I love to see how the young people handled it.
Absolutely. I think having to, be in the house all year because of coronavirus definitely forced people to pay attention, which we really needed. But who didn't care about any of this? Who did not care about the coronavirus, who did not care about Black people getting murdered, who do not care about people starving, standing on lines to get food to feed their family right now? Donald fucking Trump. He didn't care at all. Not at any point this was happening. He was telling people that they could go ahead and inject bleach. So I think going into this election, a lot of us were just terrified of what the outcome of this could be. But thankfully, on November 7th, Joe Biden was elected the 46th president of the United States of America, Kamala Harris being the first woman to be elected vice president. More people voted than any point in history. It was such a relief that people were celebrating in the streets of cities across America, across the world. Shout out to YG. Fuck Donald Trump. Certainly took on a new life this year.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'll say this. I don't think gonna be that much difference with Joe Biden in there because I'm just going by their presidential debates. They only talked about Black people for like a minute. You know what I mean? Like, they wasn't trying to make that a hot topic for them. You know what I mean? They got a lot of other stuff they cared about. So I don't think any one of them would have really done anything for Black people specifically. I will say, though, that, in times like this where we're in a pandemic, people are broke. We are going through a lot of social turbulence with, these issues of, black people specifically getting oppressed in different ways, whether it's dealing with the police or otherwise. You just can't have a nigga in a White House, which is, the top office, just kind of spewing all that rhetoric, which is sending Morse code to racist groups. Nah, you got to bring people together. That's one thing Donald Trump is probably going to be the worst at. Never brought nobody together. He was definitely divisive. He only fuck with the people who fuck with him. And again, when you're going to lead the United States of America, like we're not in a third world country. I come from Jamaica. Whatever politician get elected over there, they only fuck with the people that vote for them. You know what I mean? The other people, they violate. You know what I mean? And that's not supposed to happen over here. So, hopefully, from everything I'm hearing from Joe Biden already, he seems to be the person, maybe if he don't do anything law-wise and, he might not do a bunch of executive orders, his rhetoric seems to be more all-inclusive and looks to bring people together. I think that's a good start because I think we're going to be fucked up for the next 2 years. The coronavirus, people broke, a lot of other shit going on, man. And I'm telling you, we ain't complete to get past this police brutality stuff yet.
Yo, hey, man. I mean, ironically, I think Donald Trump did kind of bring people together. I feel like because of some of his antics, yeah. I mean, like, not just the hate, but like I feel like, what he did bring people together for is for them to kind of wake up and not only look at the politics that's going on in the country, but the local politics that's going on in the neighborhoods. I feel like, a lot of this, him being in office made people change the way they think. And I'm talking about the people who want to change in their neighborhoods, the people like that want to make better for them, and I'm not saying that he purposely did that, you know what I'm saying? It's just irony in that. As far as like presidential debates, I think they got to start treating presidential debates like rap battles, for real. And what I mean by that is I don't like the fact that you only have 3 minutes to answer a question. Like, who the fuck answers a real thought-provoking question in just 3 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever? And what they really need to start doing is, when a motherfucker say something, they need to be like, oh, word, you ain't say that? Well, let's bring it up. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring it up and put it on the screen. You did say that. And they get to address that point or whatever. But, yeah, this is one of the wildest presidential debates runs I've probably seen in my life.
Yeah, I've also noticed just how shit has changed. By the way, I think the last 2 elections, media determined. And seeing how also media acted in this election, some would say with more responsibility, some would say with more censorship. I think it was very interesting. I think Trump, when he got elected in 2016, he used the media bad publicity of himself for like basically saying, hey, he's not a politician, he's not this, he's not that. And he spun the narrative to say, you're right. I'm not a politician, so I'm going to do stuff like a regular person. Ain't we tired of all these politicians? And he was elected by that. And I think this time around, with him being labeling everything as fake news and him basically saying, him trashing the media also was like, all right, cool. We're going to hold you to the fire on a lot of the bullshit you've said, done, the contradictions, and also a lot of this hypocrisy and, a lot of coded messages sending out that is not really going to bring people together. So, again, I've just watched that angle, and I guess it's just me, my little small part in media. I've always looked at how, media helped determine stuff like that, even the election.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Aki also made a good point that there's no way things are going to change overnight. And we're all skeptical of politicians and government at this point, rightfully so, right? But the fact that Trump has still refused to concede, that has never happened in American history. It's so crazy. At this point, you would think any respectable Republican would come forward and call this bullshit for what it is. But a lot of them are still standing up and supporting him. And what's really at stake here, I'll remind you guys one more time, is this Senate runoff, man. Like, unless the Democrats can win the Senate, it's going to be really, really hard for Biden and Kamala to push any bills forward. So if you're watching this from Georgia, please go out and vote, and just vote blue. Even if historically you're a Republican, let's just get some shit done. We just need to make some changes, and I wish we would stop only thinking along party lines and just start thinking about the good of our country. But, sorry, Aki, you were going to say something?
I don't know. I was going to say, listen, I'm not one of the people that believe in that comic book shit like good and evil. Like, all these motherfuckers are the same. But I do believe in don't be no fucking sore loser, okay? Nigga, you caught an L, you know what I mean? Dip out. You can run back in 4 years, but you're going to have to hold the sidelines while Joe Biden and Kamala Harris holds it down. Just like Hillary had to hold her L when you whipped her ass. Good. Hold your L and get the fuck out, because what I'm watching here, it shows a nigga who clearly maybe he didn't really want to be president. He want to be dictator. If this is how you trying to go out, like you're trying to just contest everything, lose, and then every time we see a result come back, they're like, no, nigga, you lost by more. You're right. You're right. This was wrong. You didn't lose by 20. You lost by 200. You'd be like, oh, okay, let's look at this other thing. He need to get it together.
Stop the count.
Stop the count. Oh, my God. He's made them recount almost every state and still losing. But anyway, man, shall we get to the fuckery now?
Stop the count and recount.
Yeah, stop the count and recount. All right, man, look, with all of this crazy stuff happening in the world, of course, pop culture still kept moving. I think, we needed some distraction to get us through this crazy year. And boy, did we get some distractions. Let's start with June, when in an interview with Angela Yee, August Alsina, who finally dropped an album this year, admitted that he had a relationship with Jada Pinkett-Smith. So this was rumored years ago, not really sure why it needed to be revisited this year, but it happened. A week later, Jada had to get on her own show, Red Table Talk, with her husband, Will Smith, and confirm that she had an entanglement with August Alsina. This was a pretty scandalous moment. What did you, I don't even know. What's the question here? What was your reaction at the time? I don't really remember.
My reaction then, my reaction now. My man August Alsina is a victim. Okay? Listen, people are looking at him almost like a goddamn homewrecker. I feel like his feelings was, ignored. By the way, he's went through some, severe things, when it comes to health-wise. He's fought an uphill battle. I'm happy for him. But listen, if everybody could tell their story, why can't the side nigga tell his story? Okay, that's all I'm saying. Let the side nigga tell his story. And if he was entangled, let him tell his entanglement story. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm standing up for the side dudes of the United States. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say.
Nadeska, I'm actually surprised at Akademiks. While he might be the victim here, I'm mad that Akademiks didn't point out the fact that he fumbled the shit terribly at the goal line. Like, this was the biggest part. This has been the biggest thing of August Alsina's career in a long time outside of music. And with that being said, he dropped a record that was not good. Now the project has some records on it. He dropped an Entanglements record that was not good. And then ever since then, we haven't heard shit from him.
He did vanish.
While he might be,
you're right.
Right. Why the thing about it is, while he might be a side nigga, he turned into a side artist. Everybody forgot about him after that.
Okay, but
I thought you was gonna point that out. Academic.
No, Wayno. Here's the thing between telling your truth and clout chasing. You see, when you tell your truth, if it pops off and people want to hear more, it's fine. But it's not on you to turn your truth into a clout chasing moment. And
why
I think he was.
It?
What you mean? Why isn't it, nigga?
Yeah, man, 6ix9ine turned this whole his everything he went through his moment into a clout chasing.
Well, 6ix9ine is a different breed. Are you comparing 6ix9ine to August Alsina? Is that what you're doing?
If you're gonna if you're gonna be out here telling your business, then you should be at least making the situation better for yourself. And August Alsina didn't make the situation better for himself.
I think he was telling his truth. Again, I think to keep it real, he could have been doing a lot more. Like, imagine if every day he was talking about, this is how it started, and giving more intimate details. He just said, yo, we had a situation going on, right? No. It wasn't until the internet said, oh, wait, ain't she married? Which, again, I think we're also learning it's 2020. There's a lot of non-traditional situationships that, for real, that everyone has to account for, and that's what it culminates to.
Do you have some non-traditional situationships, Akademiks? Anything you would like to share with us? It's the final week of the show. We should just air it all out now.
I do want to share one. I have a non-traditional situationship with Everyday Struggling Complex. We here one day, but we don't know about tomorrow. Listen, today might be good. Yeah, listen, it's just non-traditional.
We would also like to hear more about your situationship with 6ix9ine. He was another gift that coronavirus gave us this year. He came home in early April, man. So in May, he dropped Gooba, then he dropped Trolls. Those records did well, and then he went on a huge trolling spree, sort of like we all expected. Then the album, did it flop, Akademiks?
Nigga did locked up over for nothing. Academics, you go ahead and add.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a flop given the circumstances, but if we ignore the circumstances,
what are the circumstances? You're the king of calling
he's
people
blackballed.
flop. Okay.
Nadeska, you work at Apple Music. If 6ix9ine's name brought up at Apple Music, I could imagine somebody's getting fired. No, like nobody at Spotify likes him, nobody at Tidal likes him, nobody at Pandora likes him, nobody at Apple Music likes him. Listen, 6ix9ine finally got humbled by the industry. That's why I'm hesitant to call it a flop. But if I'm just going off my regular numbers shit, that would be a flop. He does have mitigating circumstances. I will say this though.
Mitigating circumstances.
Here you go moving the goalposts. Here you go moving the goalposts. Shaking the table, huh? Act. That's what we doing today, huh?
Catch me every week on the podcast. Not play. I'll say this though. 2020 was the year that I told you that gimmicky, catchphrasey shit that artists that were succeeding in 2017 with is over. So I think for a lot of artists, it's gut check time. I think with 6ix9ine, trolling may not work or be as effective as it used to be. With Lil Pump, his antics are played out. Smoke Perp, his antics are played out. There's a lot of artists that used to be lit 3 years ago that they have realized it's time to evolve. You can't keep doing the same magic trick and expect the same audience to keep saying, wow, get a new trick, or maybe get something that's not a trick. It's more powerful. It's reality. And hey, well, I think the story of 6ix9ine continues. Who knows if he's gonna make a comeback or maybe he just fizzles out. Who knows?
I don't want to hear nothing about nobody sleeping with his girl. I don't want to hear nothing about him being kidnapped. I don't want to hear nothing about why he told. Like he just keeps running with that story, dog. It's almost 3 years ago.
Wait, are you trying to say that the mitigating circumstances don't matter? Because of all the wildest shit I could said in the history of this show, this is probably now in my top 5. Mitigating circumstances, y'all.
Right. I mean, the thing is that when we discussed this prior to 6ix9ine coming out, I said that he was going to do the same exact thing. The thing about it is that I feel like anybody can win again if you can make a record, right? And even with the records he made, like I said, yeah, those records were gimmicks. Trolls was a gimmick. When you think of Trolls, what do you think about? Colorful little dolls, right? When you think about 6ix9ine, what do you think about? Colorful things. How many times you gonna show us Skittles and ice cream and fucking lollipops and shit, dog? Nobody gives a fuck. Can you make a good record? All right? Can you make a good record? No. And that It only further proves that from the start, he was the real industry plant. He was a fucking industry plant the whole time. I told you, like I said before, like Akademiks, shit. No. Listen, you know how much it costs to promote on Axe page? This nigga had unlimited access. What, Akademiks, what?
I would, because I'm such a historian. Okay. I would love to call you in your books. I like how ever since, 6ix9ine came out and has been blackballed by the industry. I'm talking about DSPs and playlist people and shit. Mm-hmm. Wayno is now acting like, oh, no, it's just because he doesn't make good music. Wayno, I have the footage in 4K. In 4K. Of you actually admitting that is
he made some good songs. Prior to, dog, you can't do Gooba every time you come out. I mean, not Gooba, what's the shit? Gummo, this fucking dumbass song name.
Wait, let me just jump in here. Akademiks, take that face off your face, because Wayno did admit that he liked that first project. He did say he supported him. He even had some advice on how to market himself better. He said he should sell colorful wigs. He wasn't hating in those early stages.
Nadeska.
No?
Right.
There's
now,
there's not a song he could make that Wayno would like right now. There's not a song.
Wait a minute, hold on. Akademiks, a question for you then. True. Did you like the quality of the music he put out this year?
I think.
Don't think. Yes or no. Don't think. We don't need you thinking, because when you start thinking, you start fucking drifting off into the odyssey. I need you to say yes, it was good shit, or nah, that shit was not hitting like it used to be.
Punani was a good record. Tutu was a good record. Trolls, I was kind of on just because I thought Nicki rapped too much on it. And Gooba's a smash to me. And that Yaya record I really liked. Wayno, you're going to act like these. By the way, this is where I realized Wayno's a follower. Yes, I'm exposing it. On the last week of everything.
Go ahead and do it. Let's hear
because
it.
I'll agree. These records don't hit the same. But Wayno one of them people, like, if he was, you know, when he go to Atlanta, and you know Wayno's up in Club Compound, he up in KOD's, he up in V Live, okay, and he chilling with some of the artists that he might sign, but Wayno got 10,000 in the hand with, of course, the gold, no, not the gold, the iced out rollie on the wrist, and he's throwing money like it's going out of style. When he see them throw on that 6ix9ine record and everybody bopping to it, to him it's hot. The moment, but right now, hold on. But you know what? Because that's when it hits.
What the fuck are you talking
hold
about?
On, hold on.
Yo, what are you talking about?
Wayno, I'm
just
saying.
You've been painted a whole scenario for us.
Wayno, I'm just saying.
What?
The reason why you're saying all these new songs are whack is because it don't hit the same, but it doesn't hit the same because of the situations, not because of the
music. It's not just the situation.
Come on now, Wayno.
But wait a second.
Wayno, it's the last week. Come clean.
All right, let's come clean, Akademiks, because you are a person who I love to watch Akademiks' Twitch. You know what I mean? Like I sometimes I don't even catch the Twitch. I just go catch the recaps of the Twitch that other people put up, right? And you know what Akademiks always says? Nigga, if you making a fucking song about something, we want to see you do that shit. We want to know that you're a part of that shit. The reason why King Von music hit so hard is because niggas know he was really like that. So, okay, Akademiks. So now all of a sudden, we know that 6ix9ine, before it was questionable if 6ix9ine was like that. And then, wait a second. And then when we started looking at Associated Press and all of that shit, we start saying, oh, 6ix9ine was actually doing some of this shit, or he was around some of this shit. So the music was hitting. Now that we know the nigga wasn't doing nothing, now he's just makes good music and he doesn't have to get into none of that. You know, Akademiks, I love you, my brother. I just wanted to point that out, man.
Yo, round of applause. This is a standing ovation for Wayno. That's exactly what I wanted you to say, my brother. It's not the music doesn't. It's not the quality of the music. It's
definitely the quality too.
No, bro.
You don't got the same producers, Akademiks. You don't got the same producers.
It doesn't hit the same. When it hits the same, yo, he's still working with a nigga who did well, not Pierre Bourne because he did Gummo, but the nigga who did Kuda and the rest of them, he still work with him. Wayno, what I'm trying to say is that you could be honest. Hey, ever since he told, you're like, when he raps about up in the chopper at the chicken spot, you're like, stop
you don't
it.
Want to hear that
that's
shit.
what you like. You can say that, and that's a legit critique, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But you're acting like the music sounds intolerable.
All right, Akademiks.
Like,
so you're gonna sign 6ix9ine to your label next year. We got it. Good luck, bro. That's amazing.
Hell no, he blackballed.
You guys make a lot of money together. It's gonna be amazing. Let's move on, man, to one of the most bizarre, confusing stories we heard this year.
I know what you're talking about.
You want to choose the topic then?
It gotta be Megan Tory.
Yeah, man. We still unclear. Who knows? July 12th, we got news. Actually, we saw the footage first, and we were confused about the footage, and Meg addressed it. So Megan said Tory shot her. She had surgery in her feet to have some bullet fragments removed. Tory didn't speak for a long time. Then he released a project where he discussed it for the first time. And then Meg finally responded in music on Shots Fired, the first song on her recent album. Good news, Tory is facing a felony assault charge. There's still been some back and forth between them. Messy situation.
Yeah, her friend also threw a diss record out there as well. This is one of the craziest. I think me and Ak both agree that, like, you know, I mean, first and foremost, I would like to say that when I heard that Megan got hurt, that was my only concern. It wasn't directly about anybody's career. It wasn't about if she's gonna be putting out songs dissing him and none of that. I wanted to make sure that this young lady was okay. With that being said, you know, Tory got hit with tons of judgment, you know, rightfully so, you know, how it looked on paper. But as we started going week by week by week, it became that became like synonymous with the presidential debate. Who do you believe? Like, who do you believe? Because there was like, even though I do think that something did happen to Meg, there are a lot of sketchy details, and everybody keeps saying, yo, we're gonna talk about it one day and it's gonna make sense. So I'm about to say this, I'm about to say that. But with everything that's been said, I still don't know what the fuck happened. There's been no video footage, no nothing. And I thought that everybody should be quiet until it's played out in court. But this was definitely some shit that first of all, Megan and Tory being romantically linked was bugged. That
oh yeah, that wasn't public knowledge prior to this either.
Right. Go ahead,
Ak. Listen, do not cancel me for this, but I've tried many times, and maybe I am canceled. I don't know. I have a final end of year thought on this Megan Tory thing. By the way, if you watched the show over the last year, I've, kind of been like, damn, who shot Meg? To wait, maybe it's Tory, then maybe it's not Tory, then damn, maybe Tory's getting set up. I'm going to be honest with you at this point. I think these niggas flirting with each other. I kid you not.
What you mean?
Wayno, I seen a tweet from Tory Lanez, like they're sending coded messages.
Oh, yeah,
but they're also talking about seemingly, I won't call it a relationship, but whatever situation they had. And it's not no more about being a victim. Like again, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, so forgive me. And you can cancel me again if I am. Meg Thee Stallion's on Instagram talking about first of all, Tory's talking about, hey, like he's making indirect comments about a twerking video she might have uploaded. She's putting up a post basically saying, the more I ignore you, the more you want me. At this point, does this sound like, what does this sound like to y'all, man? I remember Meg basically saying, yeah, I wasn't trying to tell on him at first. I was trying to save a black man. Then even now, like, it doesn't still seem like she's trying to tell everything that happened, but also Tory don't want to tell everything that happened. Maybe they're saving it for court, but they're also sending indirect messages. I can't tell if they beefing or flirting. I'm confused.
I want to. I mean, will this songs come up in the case? The prosecutors usually use music against artists all the time. Will their songs be factored into the truth or what their truths are? Like I don't know, man. I just know that, like you said, Nadeska, one of the wildest situations that happened this year.
Confusion, man. But how about we talk about something a little bit more positive? One of the greatest cultural moments, I feel like, in hip-hop and R&B history happened this year with Verzuz. Shout out to Timbaland and Swizz Beatz for putting that together. This launched back in March when we were all stuck at home. Clubs, bars, restaurants, our friends' houses, everything was shut down. We couldn't do nothing. And they had a series of legendary battles. We saw people like Erykah Badu and Jill Scott, Luda and Nelly. That was the one with the Wi-Fi issues, right? Beanie Man and Bounty Killer. I saw Ack in the comments for that going crazy. Snoop versus DMX, which is one of my personal favorites. Jeezy and Gucci Mane. No one thought this would happen. They may or may not have put their 15-year beef to an end, but I don't know if it's really over. But it was tense. Some great moments from Verzuz this year.
Cannot forget Sean Garrett and The Dream. That was the one that Sean Garrett and The Dream. That was the one that sparked this shit off. Like, that was the shit that made everybody go crazy. But Verzuz, I mean, Verzuz is so good. I just wonder what it would be like if things were normal, because I feel like these same artists that I wouldn't say forgotten about, but people have kind of put to the side, they'd be able to tour for this. I feel like every artist that's done a Verzuz could tour and do like how Wayne and Drake did their Verzuz tour. Like, they could be able to do some sort of variation of that. And salute to Timbo, salute to Swizz. I think that this is one of the most important things of this. It will be one of the most important things of this decade is Verzuz, especially when things get back to normal.
Yeah, I think this was originally like, hey, listen, we ain't got shit to do. We're bored at home. Same with kind of quarantine radio. Let's just try to do some shit on Instagram Live. It turned into whole full productions. And to keep it real, most times now the artists are in the same room with each other while doing the verses. Also kind of turned from a competition to slightly a competition, but mostly a celebration of music. I think that we have to give credit to Timbaland and, of course, Swizz for creating this new platform. I think this is a platform where I think it's music discovery for people who never knew about, I don't know, like Monica and Brandy or whoever the hell is going to be going back and forth, Keisha Cole and whoever else. Verzuz, I think, is going to have, first of all, it wouldn't never start if it wasn't for the pandemic. But I think once the pandemic's over, I see a tour happening. I see tours happening. I see spot dates happening. I see filling out an arena. As wild as that sounds, happening. And to keep it real, some of the best moments have came from Verzuz. Like, shit, we've finally turned fantasy football to rap. Where, like, hey, yo, how would it look if Ross and 2 Chainz like kind of just went hit for hit? How would it look if, Gucci and like that was to me, that's the single most tense, unpredictable moment that happened this year. Gucci Mane, Jeezy on the same fucking stage, going at it, and how it ended, the moments in it, the fact that they did an after party, I think that was brilliant. I got to salute to Swizz Beatz, man, and of course Timbaland.
All right, guys, so I feel like we've recapped everything else that happened in 2020 except for music, so let's do this. We got some long-awaited albums this year, including Lil Uzi, who finally dropped Eternal Atake in March and then followed up with the Deluxe. Jay Electronica, after like 2 decades, released his debut album, A Written Testimony. Kid Cudi completed the trilogy he started in 2009 with Man on the Moon 3. So let's get into hip-hop albums of the year. Curious to know, what were the standouts for you guys? I could start running through some if that helps. Pop Smoke, of course. Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. Lil Baby's My Turn. Nas, King's Disease. Freddie Gibbs with Alfredo. 21 Savage and Metro Boomin, Savage Mode 2. Conway dropped Benny the Butcher. Future's High Off Life. What are the standout projects for you guys this year?
Get my top 3, man. Hold on, my bad. Let me get my top 3 off. Let me get it off real quick.
Let's go.
Lil Baby, My Turn. Come on, man. Number 1, the deluxe and the original. We're just going to call it one album. That's my number 1. Number 2, I got to go with the big fucking woo. Pop Smoke. What is it? Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. Let's go, man. That's clear. And then number 3, I got to go with my man 21 Savage, man. Savage Mode 2, man. Like, I think that's a clear, clean top 3. I could throw some honorable mentions, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna let Wayno go. Go ahead, Wayno.
My favorite. Me and Ak, we seeing eye to eye on this one. My Turn. That's My Turn. I feel like that's Baby's arrival moment. I think this is the year where he gets his respect as a rapper, as opposed to just a get money nigga from Atlanta. You know what I mean? He put himself aside from all that mumbling shit that people was trying to put on him. My second one is Conway from King to God. Like I love that album. I feel like it's very underrated because it doesn't come up in as many discussions as it should. And my third, I gotta go with the Woo. You know what I mean? I gotta go with the Woo. But I'm actually not gonna go with Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. I'm going for Meet the Woo 2. I gotta go with Meet the Woo 2.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you that. Okay.
Honorable mentions, definitely, I gotta put 21 in there. I feel like, 21 understands, like he really understands time and patience, and he puts a lot into his music. I mean, when just hearing about how they was finishing Savage Mode, they was just like trying to fix certain words on songs and shit, trying to fix certain kicks on records. So I gotta give Metro and 21 their flowers. And then I gotta give it to my man Jay Electronica too. Not just cause Jay-Z is on there for all of y'all in the comments. Nah, but Jay Electronica, man, I gotta give it to Jay Electronica. Like the first time listening to it, I actually didn't like the fact that Jay-Z was on it because I just wanted to hear Jay Electronica by itself. But he's got a lot of really important records on that album. A lot of really important records, so gotta give it to Jay Electronica as well as an honorable mention. And Nas' King Disease. Can't forget Nas' King Disease.
Grammy nominated. Let's see if he finally wins that Grammy, man. It's been a long time. And a couple other quick mentions. Polo G, The GOAT. You guys also really liked that project when it dropped. Worth a mention. And it's
Lil
always
Durk
weird.
Too. Just because you waited too, you feel me? And of course, you know what I mean? Just because somebody got to be into the, you know what I mean, the real hardcore shit. You know, I definitely got to, who's it? What's the name of the album again? No, RTJ4. Run the Jewels. 4. Come on, man. Stop playing with me, man.
Absolutely.
Stop playing with me, man.
Look at
Come
you,
on, man.
academics.
I'm a purist.
See,
I'm a purist.
I'm gonna tell you, Nadeska, I'm gonna give you the secret to those ones. It don't be Act. It be my man Marvin, his brother, be pulling up on him and telling him to get into it. It don't be Act. It be his brother pulling up on him and making him get into it and shit like that.
It's the last week of Everyday Struggle. I can't even get credit when I come around.
When I come around.
I try to evolve. Y'all give somebody else the credit. God damn it.
Yeah, I feel like we also have to mention Roddy just because he dropped so late in 2019 that his project really sort of lived on through 2020. Although I think technically for our purposes, we can't count it here. But please excuse me for being antisocial. Also a great album. Let us now roll into MVP of the year. Who really owned it this year? I already know the answer, but I'm going to throw out some options just in case. Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Pop Smoke, Youngboy NBA, Travis Scott, Megan Thee Stallion.
Well, I will say it's Lil Baby unanimously, but we have to take into account that Lil Durk had one of the most important years this year. Like Lil Durk, he really had a great year. I mean, he put out a great album. He was on Drake's single. Which shit? I think the highest did it get to 3 or was it 2?
Number two.
Number two. I think that was really big for Dirk. Dirk hasn't been that high on the charts. Also, gotta give him his credit for giving us King Von, man. Definitely gotta give him his credit as far as the CEO with bringing us King Von. I felt like Dirk had a really really good year, but his little baby MVP easily.
Yeah, what are we talking about, man? Let's just be pretty frank. Like, it's Lil Baby. I mean, Roddy Ricch is also a contender. I think there's no other close contender besides those two. Drake dropped a mixtape, can't really count it. I'm going to bring Roddy's album into 2020, his run, not only on his own project, but of course, he assisted with Rockstar. He assisted with, what else he assisted with? Walk Him Down for NLE Chopper. He was giving out stimulus packages. So, I think he's a close contender for number two, but got to go with my man Lil Baby for number one. I think he knocked it out of the park. And 3 home runs, 5 triples, 2 doubles, no strikeouts. That's the MVP, if you ask me.
Yeah, smooth Akademiks, real smooth. All right, and for songs of the year, again, I'm gonna just start naming some songs. Feel free to jump in, say all of these are, not it if you want. Jack Harlow, What's Poppin'? Then he dropped the remix, Say This One With Me, Akademiks, Cardi B, and Megan Thee Stallion on WAP. Rockstar, Life Is Good, Laugh Now, Cry Later, We Paid, The Bigger Picture, Lemonade, Blinding Lights, Say So, Mood. What are your contenders for songs of the year?
My song of the year, and I have to just go with it, is The Box. I got to give it to Roddy for The Box. I think, The Box, while it ran the charts, and changed a lot of records. Once the pandemic hit, a lot of people kind of forgot about The Box, but got to give it to The Box. Also, What's Poppin'? I feel like Tory Lanez is contender for one of the verses of the year, if we went that far. He had a crazy-ass verse on What's Poppin'. What's wrong?
Is there something in your eye? You got pink eye again? I thought you
go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead. Wayno, get yours up. I'm just confused. Go ahead, brother.
Let me get mine on. But I want to get, bigger picture in there. Baby going a whole different route. You had people calling out Kendrick Lamar saying, Baby did what you didn't do, what we wanted you to do. But I will say Baby with bigger picture, man. That's one of my favorite songs. But The Box for me is hands down.
This is blasphemous. We shouldn't hear no other song but Blinding Lights. Listen, man, I understand this might not be hip-hop, hip to hippie hop. Fuck that shit.
Don't talk.
The Weeknd Blinding Lights is the best song this year. Like, are we serious? Like, come on, man. Are we talking about practice? Come on. Clearly the best song this year. I feel like The Weeknd, not only did the Grammy robbed him blind. That's why we should have Everyday Struggle. We could give him some. That was such a dominating song, a song that you've heard so many times during the year. I felt it's lasted pretty much the whole year. So that's number one, of course. I will say, which wasn't on the short list that was given to us by Roger, but still, I'm going to throw Emotionally Scarred on it, man. I think that's a song that defined what Baby is in terms of an artist that can make a song that's lit enough to play in any type of venue, but also to mean something and he's actually talking about something. A lot of times we get a hot artist in the moment who got a hot song. He ain't talking about a motherfucking thing. And clearly that was not Lil Baby. He's tried to address stuff. When I say that, I got to piggyback with Bigger Picture because I think that song showed us how diverse he could get. That's, I believe, his high solo charting song of his career, and it was a song that he wanted to discuss some real issues on. So, salute to him for that. I can't also go without mentioning, come on, man. Y'all know the two-headed monster. It's Arbery and his what's his real name? Navadius? I can't remember what the fuck is his real name. Future, nigga. You know what I'm talking about. Future and Drake. Life is good. That's
absolutely. Hey.
Like I think it's now accepted as a classic that What a Time to Be Alive was a classic, right? And to see them link up, I think people wanted a full project, but even that one song, god damn it, these two, do they ever miss?
Man, wait, we don't have time for this, but is What a Time to Be Alive a classic?
Yes!
From the man who said Carter 3 wasn't a classic?
No, I changed my mind on Carter 3,
bro. Sprite 2 wasn't a classic, but you could say...
I changed...
Right.
Well,
we don't have time for this. Sorry.
One thing I do want to add that me and you both missed is we can't forget about We Paid before I go broke like Jock. Fuck with that dog like Vic. You know what I mean? Like, we can't forget about We Paid. You know what I'm saying? We Paid.
Young Jock isn't broke. I just want to say that.
Young Jock is not broke. What's crazy is in Atlanta, on the station that Young Jock is a radio personality on, they bleep his name out of the song. That shit is amazing. I find it so funny. But We Paid, one of the best songs hands down of this year.
top street record of the year, if you ask me.
Absolutely, I'm with that.
All right, gentlemen, this brings us to our final category, which will be Rookie of the Year. Some contenders for you to ruminate on. Jack Harlow, possibly. Rod Wave, Pop Smoke, Gold TJ, Don Toliver, NLE Choppa, 24 Golden, King Von, Reason, 42 Doug, Mulatto.
I want to know where I was going with this. Let me, because I got my take. Go ahead.
The person who is getting Rookie of the Year for me is not even on that list that you just delivered. By the way, salute to Doja Cat, salute to Rod Wave. I think they're close contenders to win this. Rest in peace, King Von, but I do think it was too late in the year, and I think the impact wasn't really felt at that point before he passed away, even though I was hip to the movement. I will say, though, the Rookie of the Year for me, and I want to know what y'all think if y'all consider this person a rookie, Meg Thee Stallion. I think Meg Thee Stallion, while she isn't deserving of an MVP nod or a Best Album nod, I think to ignore the year she had, and I get it, she was on the XXL freshman list last year. Was it last year or this year? Last year, right? Last year. I think she's had a year of, she had her mixtape out last year. She had her debut album out this year. She had a #1 record, had Beyonce on the record, had other successful songs, whether it was with the baby and also by herself. I think we should acknowledge her for having a great Rookie of the Year type year. So congrats to Meg Thee Stallion. I think you're the Rookie of the Year.
Well, since this is
I support you, Queen.
Since this is EDS and we make up our own rules, I want to make a co-Rookie of the Year. I want to make up a co-Rookie of the Year, and I agree with Akademiks.
Always with the honorable mentions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know what he's finna say. What you
got?
All right. So look, I agree with Akademiks. Meg Thee Stallion, if we consider her a rookie, she's had one of the greatest years. If I'm going to go co-Rookie of the Year, and I don't care if Act thinks he's an industry plant or not, I'm going to throw Jack Harlow in there. Yes, I am going to throw Jack Harlow in there. You want to know why?
Explain it, man.
You want to know why? He had
over Rod Wave?
I'm going to throw Jack Harlow in there. Yes, Jack Harlow had a bigger record than Rod Wave this year. And not only that, look at this. Rod Wave has been putting in his work. I'm not going to discount that. But
over Doja Cat?
Over
Doja Cat, I say so. Doja Cat, I say so. Don't do that.
Doja Cat also had a lot of questionable moments about herself in this culture that we didn't get to touch on. But what I will say about I'm just gonna say that Jack Harlow is my co-Rookie of the Year just for the facts that he made Akademiks a believer after a bit. Akademiks started to believe a little bit. He doesn't like Tyler Hero, which is cool, but after him putting out an EP, selling 15K the first week, Akademiks then put an eyebrow up like the Rockets say, oh shit, this might be real. He put his work in. He ended up getting a #1 record this year. So I gotta put Jack Harlow as a co-Rookie of the Year. And
he just dropped the album. He got some great features on that. Big Sean's on it, Lil Baby.
Nadeska, stop it. Just
done.
Stop it. I'm gonna give a co-Rookie of the Year since he's gonna do that.
Okay.
You know who the co-Rookie of the Year is? The big fucking Woo, man. Pop Smoke is the Rookie of the Year. That's somebody whose whole album is knocking like a motherfucker. To keep it real, I think he's a contender for MVP of the Year. But because he's in that class of being a new artist, of course, we had Meet the Woo 2, and of course, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. All I'm going to say is, clearly, it's Pop Smoke. But Wayno continues to feed and water the industry plants. Listen, we got an investigation on Wayno out right now.
Look. If we're co-everything, let's just give Pop Smoke co-MVP of the Year. That's really what it should be. Fuck co-rookie. Okay. Co-MVP of the Year, Pop Smoke.
Woo of the Year. Okay, the year of the woo.
I can do that.
The year of the woo. I'm gonna really miss doing this shit. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm gonna really miss doing it.
Yo, guys, this is it. So the rest of the episodes for the week, I told you guys, those are in the bag. We did go back to the studio and we filmed them. The best feel-good moments, the biggest beefs, just a grand finale with all the things. This is it. This is the last episode where we're reporting on anything topical, on any news. It is officially done, my friends. Now, Akademiks, we want to see you cry.
Right.
Go.
Cry.
Oh, you can't put me in this. See, that's so corny. Y'all put me in a spot like that. All I'm gonna say is, man, I had a hell of a ride, man. I love my two co-hosts. I'm gonna always tell y'all this, man. When it comes to everyday struggle, Nadeska, Alexis, and Wayno Clark, they helped me build and continue a brand that was very instrumental in my career, in my life. It's been the last, at least for our situation, it's been like the last 2-3. And again, I hope that everybody who's followed the show, based on our individual paths that we go on, you support all of us. Whether if you see Wayno by himself doing something, or you see Wayno with someone else, or you see Nadeska by herself or with someone else, or you see me as well. And by the way, like, I think we have a bond here that will always link up at some point. We'll always remember and have fond memories from this experience. You know, I've seen so much growth in Wayno. I've seen Nadeska turn to a straight up boss right in front of my very eyes. I'm super proud of y'all. I'm proud of the audience who you know, again, roll with us for so many years. They watched us lunchtime. You know, they were the people who we used to have to consider when we're thinking about moving the time the show came out. People like to watch it at lunchtime. We're gonna have to move it back. They're gonna have to watch it when they're getting off work. Everything, you know, we cared about the audience a lot. We wish we could have seen you guys so much. I love everybody, including our crew that you guys don't get to see, but we get to work with them and see and talk to every day. They're amazing. I can't say everybody's name, but working with these guys, and by the way, we've had people come and go, but working with these guys over the years, it's not only helped make me more of a professional, not only they kept me on my P's and Q's, because I be slacking sometimes. They're really, you know, kind of like we've developed into a family, and I think that's a lifetime bond we're going to carry from this. I know for people who are watching, we have a couple more episodes which we filmed previously, but you guys are going to get to see, like, you know, again, we had a lot of fun doing this shit. And we just want to thank the audience for allowing us the opportunity to entertain you, to come into your homes, to be on your phones, to just enter, you know, your mind space and your heart, just in giving our opinion. This is a dream job. I've always said what I do for a living, and I hope y'all think the same, because this is a dream. Like, I get up, I say my opinion, whether people like it or not. I get to be myself, and you know, gladfully it's entertaining, and gladfully people like it. And also, I still also got to say thank you to Complex, because again, I remember when Wayno came on and said, all right, this should go last a week. All right, wait, maybe 2 weeks. All right, 3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe a couple months, maybe a year, maybe two, but it lasted a lot longer than a lot of people thought. Just thank you to all the, you know, other co-hosts who has filled in from time to time. Thank you to Joe Budden, who was so instrumental. Again, for me, I have fond memories of all of this, and the good times and the bad times have helped me develop to be the person I am. I have no regrets. And I could say I'm happy that, you know, we were allowed to go out on our own terms. Nadeska, I'm so glad the relationship we've developed. Like, I feel like you my sister. I don't care what you think.
I love you, Livingston. You know I love you.
You
know, call me Akademiks now. We don't care. Hold on. And I guess I just want to say, you know, for everybody who worked on the show, whether you worked for one day editing our social, or maybe you were a social editor for 6 months or for like a year or so, thank you. Trust me, you know, even talking to some other people in the industry, many things that are good content don't last for 3 to 4 years. Trust me. Like, this is an honor and a privilege, and I've been definitely honored to be able to be on you guys' screen every day, or at least Monday to Thursday for the most part, over the last couple of years. So just thank you. That's my last piece. I love y'all, and of course, you'll always be able to find me on socials. But this is something that'll always be a part of my legacy, and I'm very proud of it.
Oh man, we love you too, Ak. I was about to hit the wrap it up B button on you though. I ain't gonna lie, man. You was going crazy for a second. No, but I want to just tell both of y'all, like, you know, I've been.
Greg stole my speech.
I've been in music for a long time, and you know, coming on EDS gave me a whole new career. You know, I never really viewed myself as being, and I always credit Nadeska for seeing something in me that I didn't see in myself, as far as me being a personality and bringing me on and act, you know, you dealing with it, you know, because like I said, people will see on the episodes we had this week, but I came in being somewhat combative, because I was like, all right, this is what needs to happen, and me and Act actually grew to be, you know, very close, and Nadeska, you as well, and you guys have supported me through so much, you know, whether it's me and my artists, or whether it's me and doing other things, and I'm just thankful to have y'all as a brother and a sister. And again, we are tied to this forever. To our entire staff, you know, I love you guys. Thank you for always having these sideline conversations with Nadeska comes on in the morning. Like, I was just gonna let y'all finish, because y'all talk about aliens and fucking animals and all types of weird shit. And I'm just thankful, man. I'm really thankful that I got the opportunity to share this platform with y'all. Also, yeah, I'm thankful to my man Button as well, because when I was considering coming on here, you know, when it was that little space, if we didn't know if he was gonna come back or not, I had a conversation with him and he told me that he thought it would be dope for me to be on there. So I'm thankful to everybody who was involved with this platform. Thank you to Complex, because not only did I do this show, but I was able to do correspondence interviews, man on the street stuff. I was on, I didn't get a chance to go on sneaker shopping, but I was on Full Size Run. You know what I mean?
We could still be on it, truth be told.
We should, you know, let's hit Joe Puma up. But, you know, thank you to Complex. Thank you to everybody. You know, I'm very appreciative, and I'm happy to see where all y'all careers goes, because I know I'm taking my shit up from here. This is a hell of a boost.
Yeah, man. Look, I love you both from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me. Thank you to our whole production staff. Like, we've been through so much on this show. I have to say, I am definitely not the person that I was in 2017 when we started this show. I've surprised myself with who I've become. Wayno has surprised me. Akademiks has surprised me. And what makes me the proudest and the happiest is that I think this is the most amicable group breakup in rap history. I think a lot of people thought at some point when the show ended that it was gonna go up in flames and there was gonna be drama, and I'm so happy that it's not that. You know what I mean? That down to the last episodes, we're having so much fun and we're genuinely gonna miss each other. Of course, this is not the end of our friendship, but I'm certainly gonna miss starting my mornings with you guys bullshitting, clowning, academics, bro. Like, it's, you know, like I've said before, it still hasn't really hit me as much as we've talked about it. It's not until we wake up in January, the work year starts, and I'm not talking to you guys every day that I'm really gonna feel it. But again, thank you so much for the memories. Thank you for the experiences. I love you guys. I cannot say that enough to our audience, bro. Thank you guys for all the love, the hate, the trolling, the ups, the downs. We appreciate you supporting us. I think for all three of us and for our production staff, we're still very much at the beginning of our careers, which is so crazy to say. Like, I can't wait to be kicking up in 10 years and just looking back fondly on these moments. Thank you all. Much love from all of us here at Everyday Struggle.